Hi everyone, Chris Tuck here, filming from the car in Brighton because I have struggled all week to do this vlog on Sara Sharif because how I've been feeling. But today I am filming about childhood abuse that happens behind closed doors, how prevalent it is, and how we need to take action now based on all of the knowledge and the lived experience that we already have. So, Sara Sharif, 10-year-old girl who was tortured, abused, and murdered by her father, and complicit in this was the stepmother and the uncle. So, if you don't know about this case, it's been all over the news. And the sentencing of these three individuals has happened this week as well. Just in case you are listening to this, watching this, this is happening, has happened in December 2024, the sentencing. So Sara's father, Irfan, is from Pakistan. He has a history of violence to previous partners. The first year of Sara's life, she spent 2 episodes in foster care. She was placed in her father's custody and lived with the stepmom because of things that happened between Irfan and Sara's biological mother. Sara's uncle moved in with Irfan and the stepmother. So there's 3 adults in the house and there are 6 children in the house. Now, neighbours heard noises from the house on different occasions, but nothing was really done about it. They did report it, but nothing was really done, as I will share with you. Baynash, the stepmother, and Candela, another relative, WhatsApps showed the abuse that was happening behind closed doors through the messages that they shared via their WhatsApp. Now, they should have reported the abuse that was going on within the family home to the police, but they didn't. So there's our first bit of learning. If you actually see, hear, witness any kind of abuse that goes on behind closed doors, you have a duty to report it. Full stop. The school started to see bruising on Sara, but then she started to wear a hijab to cover it up. So, again, another learning from this story is we can't hide behind ethnicity, race, or class. There is no reason, no excuse, none whatsoever to hide behind the fact that abuse is happening and we need to call it out in order to better protect children. So the school contacted Surrey County Council, who interviewed the parents and Sara about the bruising. But 6 days later, Surrey County Council contacted the school to tell them that no further action needed to be taken, but they should still continue to monitor Sara. Now, when Sara got a bruise on her cheek, the stepmom went to the school and she was very defensive about it, and she said to the school that the bruising had been caused by a pen. When the school broke up for a holiday, Irfan, the father, sent an email to the school to say he was pulling Sara out of school to homeschool her. The family then moved out of the flat that they were living in into a bigger home, Now, because there's now more space for the family, you would think that any kind of abuse that was happening would now peter out because of the different living circumstances. Now, the neighbours said that the family were friendly and seemed happy. The children, when they played outside of the house, made lots of noise, were laughing, were just carrying on like a normal family. However, when the children went inside the home, everything was completely silent. They didn't hear normal children's life behind closed doors. And there was an escalation of abuse against Sara. One of the neighbours at the back of the gardens heard a scream one day, but nothing else. Now, there was evidence that Sara was being beaten with a cricket bat, a metal pole, that she had been burnt and bitten over a long period of time. The neighbours said that Sara, and the school said that Sara was a smiley, joyous child. She would sing, she would dance, she was just really a lovely little girl. No one suspected the torture that was happening to Sara. Now, Sara had written lots of notes to her family, her dad, her stepmom, her uncle, saying that she loved them. This shows how normalised the abuse and torture that was happening to Sara had become. And this is why we don't often hear from children and young people about the abuse that is happening behind closed doors, because they don't know any different. They don't know that it is abuse. It's just so normal that they are able to turn up in everyday life at school, for example, as a happy child. Not all children, because I certainly didn't when the abuse of me was happening behind closed doors, but we can mask and we can act like a normal, happy, healthy child. Now, we ultimately know that Sara dies from the injuries inflicted upon her by her father. When Sara dies, the parents arrange travel to Pakistan one way. Now, the stepmother is very calm and collected when she arranges the travel for her and the remaining children and the dad and the uncle. They fled the country literally the next day to Islamabad. Irfan then calls the police from Islamabad to tell them about Sara. When Sara post-mortem happened, there were 70 injuries, broken bones, brain injury, burns across her body, including her buttocks, that was caused by a domestic iron. So these were all catalogued injuries to her body. Now, for the domestic iron to have been applied to her buttocks, she would have had to have been restrained for this to have been done to her. So this shows you that more than one adult was involved in the torture and abuse of Sara. It also came out that she was hooded by a plastic bag whilst harm was being caused to her. So this isn't just a little tap on the hand, the bum, the leg for discipline. This was abuse in its most violent form, being meted out to this young girl. Now, as the story progresses in this documentary, Caroline Davies, a BBC correspondent in Islamabad, tells us about the journey of trying to get information on the whereabouts of the family, and she shares how difficult it is to get the family back to the UK for an investigation to happen. So there is no extradition treaty between Pakistan and the UK. So getting the family back was going to be difficult. This investigator, reporter Caroline, shares what's coming next. Now, the family were in the city of Jhelum, where there is a 1 million population. The Pakistani police were looking for the family. They were regularly picking up relatives of the family, and the family said the police were coming up with false charges about the family in order for the family to come forward. And the family was saying that this was not right. The family were being helped to hide in Pakistan by relatives. Caroline had interviewed the grandfather, and he said it was an accident and the family had fled England because of the trauma of the death of Sara, and that the adults were not thinking straight. The family had returned to Pakistan out of fear. Now, on the 6th of September 23, a video was sent to the BBC from the dad and the stepmum, and they said, and this is a quote, "Sara's death was an incident. Our family in Pakistan are severely affected by all that is going on, harassing my extended family. The police are registering fake cases against these people to put pressure on them. My main concern is that the Pakistani police will torture or kill us. That is why we have gone into hiding." So this statement was from Irfan and the stepmother. Now, the police did find the children at the grandfather's, and they took the children, whilst the 3 adults had fled and were hiding. Now, the adults decided to fly back to Gatwick, and this is where they were arrested by the police on the plane when they arrived back at Gatwick. They seemed very cooperative until they were interviewed, and then it was no comment, no comment. The father, in his interview and in his statement, said, "I did legally punish my daughter and she died." Now, this is another learning, another point that I wanted to bring up. Smacking in England is not against the law like it is in Scotland and Wales. And the debate about smacking is, well, you know, a tap on the hand, a smack on the legs, a smack on the bum never hurt me. But it's where is the line in all of this? Many people do not know where the line is. Smacking to one person could be a tap on the hand. It could be a slap on the leg. It could be using a hairbrush, a stick, an implement to tap on the bottom or the legs. Or it could be a severe beating using the hand or an instrument, a belt, across the legs, across the buttocks, to the point where it causes marks, to the point where there is breaking of the skin, to a point where there is blood, to a point where the perpetrator who is administering the physical abuse gets out of breath, gets, in some cases, not this case, where we've heard about the institutional abuse within the Catholic Church, for example, to the point where it actually is a turn on for the perpetrator. So the word smacking, if it's not defined, if it's not accepted by society as a whole, can be completely misinterpreted and used as a defence. Like in this case, I did legally punish my daughter and she died. I'm sorry, but a child will not die from a little tap on the hand to protect them. But there are many people who will just go, well, smacking never harmed me when I was smacked as a kid. But then those people, in my eyes, have not been physically abused. Because physical abuse of a child, young person, will often scar them physically, mentally, emotionally for their lifetime. So smacking needs to be illegal in England. We need to have a debate about the whole topic and why it is such a topic of tension when it comes up in the public domain. So I just wanted to, talk about that here as well. Now, when Sara's family, the adults, returned, they took no responsibility, even though they said that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to be heard in a court of law. As the case progressed, the father and the stepmother blamed each other. The father claimed he didn't see what went on in the house because he was out all day working as a taxi cab driver. Now, in my own case, we've got this in black and white as well. My stepdad's defence was he never disciplined us, the children, because he was out working all day as a painter decorator. And the police never checked out what he said, because the true facts of it was my stepdad did not work. He was on the dole. He was at home most of the day, every day. Occasionally, he had a decorating job, which was cash in hand. That man was at home all of the time, and he was the one dishing out the abuse to my mum and to all of the children when he felt like it. Yet the police investigation into our case in that incident here that we're talking about, this topic of conversation, they didn't verify what he said. They just accepted it. When us 6 children, the 4 children in this point, those us 4 children told the police about what was going on within the family home, they did not follow up and establish who was telling the truth. So Irfan then admitted what he had said in his phone call and in the note that he left behind before he fled to Islamabad was true. He confessed to all types of physical abuse that he enacted on Sara. He said he never meant to cause serious harm or to kill Sara. But the stepmom and the uncle denied any involvement. Now, after the 10-week trial, the dad and the stepmom were found guilty of murder. The uncle was found guilty of causing or allowing a death of a child. The judge said that Sara had suffered years of neglect, frequent assault and torture. The father was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 40 years. The stepmum was given life sentence with a minimum term of 33 years. And the uncle was given 16 years. Now, Surrey County Council gave a statement. They said they cannot comment until the independent safeguarding review concludes, and a complete picture cannot be understood until that had all taken place. And Sara is remembered within the school by her friends and teachers by having a buddy bench within the school, and that is dedicated to Sara. So I truly hope that this young girl's life is not in vain, and when the serious case review is done about how she was let down by the statutory services, that it is laid bare and connected back to all of the other case reviews, to the inquiry into child sexual abuse and their recommendations, and into the national review into abuse within the family home environment that took place in 2024 as well. So I am going to finish here on this particular conversation, but I just want to say rest in peace, Sara Sharif, and I hope that your perpetrators get their comeuppance, and I truly hope that change happens because of the death, because of your torture, and that I hope your pain and suffering has not gone by without something drastically changing in this country, like the implementation of a child protection authority, like the establishment of a child protection minister. So I'm going to now go. I'm doing some filming today in Brighton about what goes on behind closed doors and what needs to change. So please drop me any comments underneath this video, and also get in touch if I can bring to life anything that you're working on within this field of child sexual abuse, abuse in general, exploitation, the impact of everyday living because you've gone through this stuff, and also the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Okay, thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now, everyone.